Now in this video we're going to talk about the 8 basic mistakes every golfer makes. Now I was watching my friend teeing off the other day and noticed that he had the ball positioned too far forward in his stance, which meant that it was likely that he was going to hook the shot. And guess what? Yeah, he did. Have you noticed that all golfers make mistakes? Whether you're a seasoned professional or a club player. We're all human, so it's natural that we make mistakes. Sometimes we think so much about getting our swing right that we don't pay attention to the obvious things, like our setup. Sometimes our egos make us think that just because we hit the middle of the fairway with our driver once, that we can do it every single time. The key is to play within your capabilities and don't try the impossible. Be careful with your setup. Choose the right club. In fact, it's quite simple. Avoid the stupid mistakes and you will shoot lower scores. Okay, now, mistake 1, wrong ball position. Position the ball in line with your heart. Your ball position dictates where you'll start your swing from. When taking a full swing, keep the ball in the same position every time. When you start hitting with your longer clubs, just widen your stance just a little more for each club. Mistake 2, poor takeaway. Now there are 2 faults that you can make in the takeaway. You can pick the club up or you can pull it back inside. Now when you pick the club up, your left shoulder drops. You tilt, but you don't really turn your shoulders. You hang on your left side, like a reverse pivot, and then either end up topping the ball or chunking it. Now I believe strongly in a one-piece takeaway. That means that until your hands are waist high, you maintain the triangle formed by your arms and your shoulders at address. You'll find that it helps to think about taking the club back low and slow. Now here's a good drill. Place a tee about a grip length behind the ball, then try to clip the tee on your takeaway. That will help you learn a slow one-piece takeaway. A good takeaway is when your club is halfway back, then the shaft should be exactly in line with your toes, and your right arm should be slightly higher than your left. Mistake 3, the straight knee. Now many amateurs straighten or even lock the right knee immediately as they start their backswing. Now that causes their hips and shoulders to turn the same amount. So they aren't building any coil for power. They end up throwing the club over the top to get back to the ball, which further reduces power and often leads to slices or pulling the shot. Instead, maintain the flex of your right knee throughout the swing. This encourages the shoulders to turn more than the hips, storing that power. Now on the downswing, you'll be more on plane and can release the club later for a more powerful hit. Knee flex is something that Tiger Woods, whether you love him or hate him because of what's happened recently, it's something he's worked on for years. He has perfect posture at address and tries to maintain the posture of his right leg all the way back in his swing. Mistake 4, over the top. A good downswing begins from the ground up. But many amateurs trying to hit the ball hard start the downswing with the upper body, which then gets the hands and the right shoulder going out and over the proper plane. Now for most high handicappers, the result is usually a weak slice. For better players with fast hands, the result is often a quick pull. Now to work on the problem, practice swinging back to the top and then stopping for a count of 2 or 3. From there, to finish the swing, first transfer your weight to the left and unwind your hips, and then just let your hands and arms drop naturally. Now the first few times you'll want to throw the club from the top with your hands and right shoulder, but force yourself to let your arms just drop. Watch Freddie Couples take practice swings. He goes up, stops, then unwinds his lower body and swings through. He's working on the same thing. Feel as if you're just letting your arms drop. You'll then avoid the slice and hit the ball a lot further. Mistake 5. Hitting the ego shot. Now, ego is a big thing in golf. We all hate to think that we have to take more club, especially as we get older. I see average club players all the time who take too little club for the shot at hand. If the hole is 150 yards, they'll automatically reach for the 7-iron, regardless of whether the air is heavy or light, whether it's warm or cold, whether they're feeling loose or stiff that day. Seldom do you see a high handicapper hit a ball over the green on the fly, because they're taking a club that if they hit absolutely perfectly, they may just reach the flag. As a rule, always take one more club. So if you think it's a 7-iron shot, take a 6-iron. That way you can swing under control. If you can't hold your follow through until the ball hits the ground, then you've swung too hard. Take the club that allows you to reach your target with a 70% effort. That's right, 70% effort. Now, ego also leads players to go for sucker pins. Think about it. If you could put the ball in the middle of every green, you'd shoot a pretty good score, wouldn't you? Go for the fat part of the green. Take the lakes and bunkers out of play, and you'll save a lot of strokes. Mistake 6. Laying up too close. Now the term layup means just that. Lay up. It doesn't mean get right next to. Mistake 7. Weight back on chipping. Now setup is extremely important in chipping, and here's a mistake we see all the time. The player sets up with the ball forward in his stance, all his weight on the back foot, and his hands back even with the ball or even behind it. Then he ends up trying to scoop the ball in the air. Now from this position, you can't make solid contact with the ball or control its trajectory, which is absolutely necessary for good chipping. Instead, you'll either hit behind the ball or you'll blade it. Mistake 8. Decelerating the putter. The most common putting mistake I see the average club player make is this: taking the putter blade back too far and then decelerating coming into the ball. When you slow the putter down to hit the ball, the blade tends to open or close, and you're more likely to miss-hit the putt. Even Tiger Woods sometimes makes the mistake of decelerating. Now, to shorten your backswing, you can simply fold up a golf club or a towel and lay it behind the ball to restrict your backswing. If you can always be accelerating into the ball, no matter what the length of the putt, you're always going to hit it pretty solid, and your ball is going to stay on line. You're also going to be more likely to roll the ball the proper distance, which on longer putts especially is even more important than the line the ball takes. I hope you found this information helpful. This has been Robert Jones of Golf's Inner Secret. Till next time.